welcome to another episode of Turn Left. I am your host, Indiana's own Dana Black, coming to you live. Yes, all the way live from Black Pearl Studios, where we talk about Indiana politics from the left side of things. All right, welcome back. Another episode of Turn Left. Guys, Indiana's own Dana Black, bringing you the candidates. Right now, I've just been bringing you folks from the State House. And for the most part, I've only had the opportunity to talk to folks who are running for office for the first time, or they're not necessarily elected to the State House. Today's show is different because now we have an incumbent. Now we have someone, we're going to talk to someone today who's been in the chamber fighting for us in that superminority. Y'all, give it up for my guest, Representative Cherrish Pryor, representing District 94. Cherrish, welcome to the show.
Oh, thank you so much for having me back, Dana. It's been a very long time since I joined you.
I know.
Congratulations to you first for continuing to have your show and to keep our voices out there and just for the longevity. So, congratulations to you, and thank you for all that you do as well. We really appreciate all your work.
Oh, my goodness. Thank you. Cherrish, you're one of those people, you're not loud. You don't make a lot of noise, right? You are kind of a behind the scenes kind of leader. First of all, for the folks that don't know, tell the people who you are and where you come from.
Cherrish Pryor, represent District 94, which is the northwest side of Indianapolis. Born and raised in Mississippi, moved to Indiana in 1995 because I became an intern for the House of Representatives. So I've been here for the majority of my life now. And I moved here just for the internship, ended up getting a job, and that job turned into another job, and then it turned into me going to work for the Indianapolis City County Council, and then becoming a City County Councilor, and now state representative. So
I love
really
it.
excited.
What part of Mississippi are you from?
Holly Springs, Mississippi. So that's about 45 minutes south of Memphis,
okay.
In Marshall County. So it's north central Mississippi. You may have heard of Rusk College, which is it's the HBCU. It is in Holly Springs. Ida B. Wells, that is her hometown.
Okay.
Springs as well. So yeah, small community, but I'm proud of my roots and proud of my family. So I'm a Hoosier through and through, but I never ignore or shy away from my roots of being a person from Mississippi, because that's my family and my heritage.
I love that because my mama from Mississippi. So listen, that's why I was like, what part? My mother was from Scott County, which is like 50 miles east of Jackson. So they down there in the forest area.
So you're further south than I am.
Yeah, and I used to spend my summers down there, Cherrish. Can you imagine what it was like?
With your grandmother? With your grandmother?
Yeah, with my cousins. Eating everything and getting black.
Eating everything, eating good stuff, probably fresh stuff off of a tree or out of the garden. But a lot of people sent their kids back then back to Mississippi. I will say Mississippi, probably the other southern states as well, to be with their grandparents during the summer. So, which was really great because a lot of kids had an opportunity to build close relationships with their grandparents. Even though they were far away from them, they still were able to have those good memories and relationships with their grandparents. So. Yeah,
we used to go in my auntie's garden and steal all her green tomatoes and fry them up. She'd be so mad at us, but they be so good. Oh my God, with the cornmeal, a little bit of seasoning. Oh my goodness. Okay.
Oh yeah. I love, girl. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was the person that was in the garden too. I was, my grandmother could always count on me. I always knew when the tomatoes were ready. I always knew when the blackberries were ready, when the peaches were ready, when the potatoes were ready. I always knew. She never had to go and check because I was the one that was every day, every single day. I loved it.
I loved it too. So let's get back to the Hoosier State. You know, Cherrish, every time General Assembly session ends, I feel like I should raise money for y'all to have therapy, because the fights that y'all have in the State House, I'm one of those nerdy people that sit back and watch the committee meetings. And every now and then you'll get a text message from me like, what the heck is, talk about what those battles are like, and why it is so important that even though you guys are in the minority, that you continue to fight and protect Hoosier families the way you do.
Well, we all come from different districts, and my district vote for me and send me to the State House, and they have an expectation. That expectation is for me to represent them. So I don't have the luxury of going to the State House and just sitting there, being silent and going along to get along. Even if the Republicans are not going to vote with me, it's still my responsibility to put the issues of the people that I represent at the forefront in the legislature. And that's what I'm going to do every day that I'm there. And it does sometimes get stressful. I have to admit that it does take a lot of sacrifices, but the rewards, even on those hard battles that we lose, if I have done my best and I've represented my district, even though we may have lost that vote, at least I know that I represented the people that I represent.
Yeah,
and that's important to me. And then the other thing is, the other side can't come back and say, "Oh, I didn't know," because, well, no, yeah, you did know, because we told you.
Yeah,
we told you that this was going to happen. We told you the consequences of your vote or of a particular bill. So they can't ever come back and say they didn't know, because we're there and we're fighting. And it's important for people to know that. And when people watch the live streams, I think people appreciate the fact that we're there and we're standing up for them, and trying to be a voice of reason and consciousness for the legislature.
Yeah, I'm going to tell folks to watch at their own risk, though, because you have some colleagues in there. And you don't have to comment on this because you have to work with him. But I tell you what, Representative Wesco, man, there's a reason why I'm on this side of the State House, because I have listened to him, and I really just don't like the tone that he uses when he's talking to you all. You keep it together. You're very respectful for someone who, well, that's just watch at your own risk, people, because you gonna get mad. How do you manage to keep your cool when sometimes you are just being blatantly disrespected? Because I've heard it.
Yeah, so I have to say this. Some of you would be surprised, Dana. For some people, I wouldn't say that he's the worst. Quite frankly.
God.
Every year, I was saying, oh my God, they can't get any worse than this. They can't get any worse than this. And every year it gets worse and worse and worse and worse and worse. So, and that's kind of what we have. And I talk to Tim Wesco quite a bit because I'm on elections with him. We disagree vehemently on a lot of stuff, and that is not going to change. But places where I can agree with people, where they agree with me, where we can work together, we're going to work together. But there are some issues, in casual conversations, we're just not going to have conversations about some issues because we're not going to agree on those issues at all.
I feel that. I know a lot of, first time candidates, they talk about their ability to work across the aisle and they can build relationships, but sometimes it's hard when you're just being blatantly disrespected. And it's almost like Cherrish, Representative Pryor, that they don't care that some of the policies that they're writing are harmful to Hoosiers. And I don't care what it is, if it's a specific demographic or an economic issue or like the wetlands thing. When you're in those conversations, do you have a sense of what their main goal is? Because it doesn't seem like it's representing the people.
Well, Dana, so they're in the supermajority. Mm-hmm. So they can lose a couple of people, but I have to say this: their leadership has a good handle and control of the folks in their caucus. They vote together as a block on a lot of bad stuff, even when they know it's wrong, even when they don't want to vote for some of the bad stuff, they will still vote along party lines because their leadership has that control over their caucus members. Now, they do have some people that are Republicans, but they don't go along with the leadership that, don't get along with leadership as well. But for the most part, they're going to agree with their leadership. And so sometimes it's not even a matter of, I don't like this or that. Is really, that's our caucus wants this, and that's a Republican that's putting forth this bill or putting forth this amendment. And even though it's bad, I'm still going to vote for it because I'm not going to go against my party and my leadership. So they're
not even representing the people. They're just falling in line.
Yeah, for us. Quite a few of those countries, some of those bills. Now, there are a few bills where they're so harmful to their communities, where they'll say, no, we can't vote for this because this is just going to hurt our community. There are a few bills like that, but by and large, most of that stuff is just, no, we're gonna vote with our party. And I'll give you an example, quite frankly, of just how they stick together on stuff that is just right in common sense. So for years, this was during a budget year, and it was right after COVID, the budget year right after COVID. And we had the budget that was coming up. And I had an amendment to increase funding for food banks. Makes a lot of sense because during COVID, a lot of people that following year, a lot of people were in food lines, food pantries, and the food banks needed money so that they can provide food for people. So I had an amendment to increase funding for food banks. The Republicans voted that down. Mind you, a Republican was on a food bank board, and he voted against it. Oh God, that don't even make sense. When he came back and told me, hey, I'm gonna try to work to get money for the food bank. But why do you say that in your caucus and say, hey, no, this is a good amendment. We need to make sure we get more money to food banks. And so I did it in committee, and they voted against it. And I did it on the floor, and again, 2 times they voted against food banks. So you mentioned because I am quite quiet sometimes, but I got on the floor, and I was really mad that they voted, that the chairman at that time spoke against my amendment and recommended that the caucus, that everybody voted against my amendment, knowing that there were people in your district, maybe that you go to church with, or standing in line, to get food for food banks.
I don't understand that. Like they scream they're Christian. I'm Christian. Like Jesus said, feed the needy, and here you are.
Feed the hungry. Feed the hungry. And I would say, and the speaker, he noticed that I was not happy about that. Mm-hmm. And we talked after my amendment died, and he committed to getting more food, to getting more money for food banks, because it just made sense. I mean, the chairman, he was just saying no just for the heck of it, just because it was a Democrat amendment. You're not thinking about the fact that this money is not just going to go to my district. It's not just going to go to the black district. It's going to go to everybody. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. We have people that don't have money to buy food, but that's just how, quite frankly, too often they operate. Mm-hmm. They go along with the person who authors the bill, or if there is an amendment that they don't want and somebody gets up and say no, they'll go along with it simply because it's not their amendment, even if they know it's the right thing to do.
Yeah. So, we're listening to the struggle, because the struggle is real. Can you give us an example of when you actually had a win in the State House?
Yeah, so we do have wins. I think that's to note, because not everything is dies. Mm-hmm. We do have opportunities to speak to our colleagues on the other side, and some amendments they agree with us on. So for instance, this past session, we had a bill dealing with the cultural commissions, and the cultural commissions would be like the social status of Black males, mm-hmm. the Hispanic commissions, the Martin Luther King commissions, the women's commissions. So we had those commissions, and so the Civil Rights Commission restructuring those. And what we noticed was that in the language of the bill, it said that those cultural commission members would not get a per diem. Well, it was a sentiment of the person over the Civil Rights Commission that, these are volunteer opportunities and people should be doing this out of the kindness of the heart, which serving is doing it out of the kindness of your heart. But if you're coming from out of town, there is a cost. Mm-hmm. And as legislators, we get a per diem. If we travel from out of town and come to the State House, mm-hmm. we get a per diem for coming. Why not our volunteers? So we approached the speaker and said, hey, you know what? We need to make sure that we are paying these people who are serving on these commissions. And the speaker agreed to it. We were able to get that language put back in the bill.
Okay. So there is
there are other things. For instance, this session, I got a bill passed. So it's not all bad. What
bill did you get passed?
I got it, and it's a pretty big bill too. So I got House Bill 1114 passed. Okay. It's a bill that deals with cancer, actually. Okay. So
it's a big deal.
That's a big deal. So what the bill says is prohibits the insurance companies from requiring people who have stage 4 cancer to go through step therapy or fail first. And step therapy is basically saying you have to try this medication that the insurance company recommends before you actually utilize or can get the medication that your doctor actually prescribes to you first. Yeah, so your insurance company, they have a list of medications that you have to use.
That they'll cover.
Mm-hmm. That they'll cover. Yeah. So what this bill is saying, you don't have to go through that. If you have for state plans, for HMOs, for the healthcare plans that the state has control over, because there are other plans that the federal government has control over, but for the plans where we are able to control, with the exception of Medicaid. So we're going to have to go back and get Medicaid because, we got Mitch Rowe. Mitch Rowe don't think that people shouldn't get nothing. But for the other plans, all the other plans, people don't have to go through step therapy. You can immediately get the coverage, get the medication that you need. And, that's going to help a lot of people, save people's lives.
Yeah.
Because, if you have stage 4 cancer, and it covers all cancers, if you have stage 4 cancer, you don't have time to wait to try a medication and have it fail, to go to another medication and have that fail, to go to another medication and have that fail before you actually get the medication that the doctor knew that was going to help you live longer anyway. So,
So cancer is definitely not a partisan issue. So congratulations on that, especially when you consider that Indiana we rank very low when it comes to healthcare.
Yeah, we do. We absolutely do. So, and I worked really hard on that bill, started last year even on that bill. And the chairman agreed to hear the bill. And I spoke to in the House, it just went to one committee, the insurance committee. In the Senate, it went to insurance, came out the insurance committee. And not a problem. Well, I did have one person vote against it, but it went on and it was reappropriated to the Appropriations Committee, and which was concerning to me. But I told the chairman of that committee that I was going to keep bugging him until he heard my bill. Yeah. And he said, "So what are you going to do if I hear your bill?" I said, "I'm going to come back over and say thank you."
Well, what else did you want? Like, what are you going to do? Thank you. Please.
Yeah. He's like, yeah. Well, I think he thought that I was going to keep bugging. No, I'm going to leave you alone. Yeah. I'm going to leave you alone. You just going to get I'm going to say thank you for hearing my bill because I appreciate it. Not for not for me necessarily, but for the people that are going to it's going to save. And, I wasn't that. When I presented the bill to the Appropriations Committee, I don't even think I was there for 4 minutes, maybe 2 or 3 minutes presenting the bill, and it came out and passed the Senate. And January 1st or July 1st, it's going to be law.
I love that.
I am proud of that.
And I'm proud of that for you. And hey, I always say Democrats write policies that improve lives. And that is a prime example of that. You've been in the State House. What term is this for you when you win in November?
This is going to be 7.
Okay, so that's 14.
No, 8.
So you've been in there 14 years already. So this will be year 15 and 16 for the next 2 years, right?
Well, I came in 2000. I got there in 2008 with President Obama. So,
okay.
So actually, now it's going to be 9. It's actually going to be 9.
Okay. I think people get
to 20. So 18 years.
Okay. So I think sometimes people, they get a little frustrated when they hear how long someone's been in office and they want a higher turnover. But I think there's value in longevity or having some seasoning, right? So, for example, people always want to know, am I going to run? I'm not running. I got Greg Porter who sits on Ways and Means. I'm good, right? You know what I'm saying? Why would I run against somebody that's sitting on Ways and Means? Duh. But I also understand politics and policy making in that way. We're going to flip some seats in November, right? I think we are. What advice do you have for those incoming freshman House representatives that you can give them to help them get acclimated and maybe set proper expectations?
Yeah, a couple of things. I will say to learn the rules in the process. Don't come in thinking that you know everything because the legislature is a system that no one, unless you've been involved with it, that no one knows and fully understands until you get there. So if you want to be successful, it's important to understand the process and understand the rules. The other thing that I would say is to build relationships
Mm-hmm.
with your Democrat colleagues and, quite frankly, your Republican colleagues as well. Because for you to get anything done, it's going to take some Republican votes.
Mm-hmm.
And there are some of my Republican colleagues that one or two, definitely one, that I don't generally have a conversation with. And there are so many of them, I don't even know all of them.
Right.
But it's important to build relationships, even with the people that you don't agree with on really, really big things. It's important because there's going to be some things that you all are going to agree upon. So it's important to build those relationships, because when you build relationships with individuals, you can at least go and talk to them to get an idea of how they feel about a particular issue, particularly if those folks are sitting on the committees with you. You're sitting on a committee with somebody and you're sitting right beside them. You're gonna want to be able to at least say hi, to that person and to be cordial to them, even though you're not going to agree with them. And the other thing is, and that's at the legislature. Outside of the legislature, I would say to make sure that you're present in your community. And when people reach out to you, respond back. I've had situations where people contact me to get in contact with somebody else on a local level.
Right.
Well, dang, I'm at the state level. The local people, they're not representing as many people as I do. Respond to people. Respond to people. That's why they send you. That's why they send us to the State House. So I would tell people to do that. And, there are certain things that I do as a legislator. I hand sign all of the stuff that comes through our mouth, as whether it's birthday certificates or high school certificates, whatever it is, I sign those because I want to try to personalize stuff for people in my district. So I would say, for your district, attend events, respond, and show that you're accessible and that you care about the people that you represent.
I love it. Constituency services are so important. So
it is. That's why people love Dick Lugar.
Oh yeah. And you know what? Andre Carson does a really good job.
Yeah,
I think
he's Andre. Yeah.
So
people love Andre too because he has a really good team.
Yeah. So aside from being an elected official, and I could talk about State House stuff all day long, but one of the things that I find amazing about you, you've been, even though I'm older than you, you've been a mentor to me from day one, right? You've always been giving me advice. You've always, you may not always like what I was.
Do you take it, Dana? Do you take it?
I take it. I just don't always apply it. I think there's a difference, right? But one of the things that I love about you is that there is always a young Black woman that you have around you, that you're mentoring, that you're encouraging. Where did that come from? Because you do enough with constituency services, you got a job, where did that come from to say, oh, I'm going to help out?
My grandmother, she was a fighter, civil rights movement, voting rights, making sure that her kids got educated. And I think just seeing her work and the fact that she was trying to help other people, that's something that got instilled in me as well. And so, my thing is, it's important. I'm not going to hold my position forever. And I want somebody that's good and qualified that's going to come behind me. And hold my spot. And the other thing is I can't do it all myself. And so there's a lot of work to be done. If there's a young person that wants to get involved and want to do stuff, Come on.
Yeah, yeah.
We need you. We need you, especially, when you're talking about marginalized communities, and there's always attacks going on in marginalized communities and Black communities. So yeah, if there's a young person that has that passion like I have, and they're ready to do the work, hey, I'm ready for you to work with you, and for you to work alongside me. Because the one thing that I tell my staff people is, we are a team. I have my legislative assistant and my press secretary, and then when we're in session, an intern, and all three of them, they have other people that they're assigned to as well. But I tell them, the four of us, we are a team.
Mm-hmm.
It's not just me. We're a team that work together.
Yeah.
And that is important to me. And I tell them, if you have a good idea, about something, let me know. If I'm thinking about something and I haven't thought about something this particular way or a different strategy, please share, because I want the best ideas from individuals.
Yeah, I love that.
And quite frankly, I'm not a young person anymore. I'm young at heart. But
younger than me.
But I don't know, Dana.
I'll be 56 in June. Yeah.
Okay. All right. By a couple of months. I'll be 56 in October.
I thought I was way older than you.
No.
But you just got a baby face.
Well,
Black don't crack.
Black don't crack. And all that time in Mississippi. Born and raised in Mississippi.
Yeah. Well, I love that. Now, one other thing that I love, organization that I love dearly, that I know that you give a lot of your time to, is Hoosier Women Forward. I love this organization. I love what it stands for. And I know sometimes I talk to marginalized communities and they're not always sure that Hoosier Women Forward is going to be as welcoming. And I tell people all the time, look, they are intentional about inclusivity, not just gender, not gender, but not just race, but also geography, right? You're not getting everybody from Indianapolis. You know, talk about how you got involved with Hoosier Women Forward and why it's so important to you.
So how I got involved with Hoosier Women Forward is real easy. Miss Cordelia told me that I had to go to a meeting.
Boss lady said, show up.
She said, yeah. She said, show up. I showed up. She said, Cherrish, you better be at that meeting. Go to that meeting. And I went to the meeting. And so out of that meeting, I'm now one of the co-founders of the organization. And I was the first person to be chair of the selections committee as well. And I've always, since the time I've been on the committee, I have always been very vocal and outspoken that we need to make sure that we have geographical representation in our classes, and even on the board as much as we can also. And, from to make sure that we have veterans, to try to make sure we have women from labor, make sure we have racial minorities, Black, Latino, Asians, whatever ethnicity there is, to make sure we have people from the LGBTQ community as well, to make sure we have women who are disabled. I mean, because the thing is, we want to make sure that every voice is represented. And I really hate hearing that people don't think that we are welcoming.
Well, and let me tell you where that comes from. Let me tell
that's
that broader. Well, see, that's that broad. Like, you hear from people when they make those broad statements about the party, or they make broad statements about the thing, and they don't really. They just hear about it, but they don't know about it. And so, I feel like one of my jobs out here is like, nah, that's not. This ain't that. This is a place for women. Not for you. You got to be in 35 and older, I think, to even apply for it.
Well, we don't have age, but it's a very competitive process. It's very competitive, and we have women that have applied two
Multiple
or three
times.
times before they get in, because it's a competitive process. And right now the applications are open. So, if people are hearing this and they're interested in applying for Who's Your Woman For, please apply. And I always tell people, when people ask me my advice, I can't write a recommendation for anybody, but I will say you need to brag about yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Have your application well and have strong recommendations. Because I have seen some recommendations, not necessarily. Don't send in a form recommendation.
Yeah.
That's not going to help that person.
Yeah.
Make sure that you have people that are recommending, giving you recommendations that really can speak to your ability, because it is such a competitive process.
Yeah.
And, if you don't get it the first time,
keep
try
trying
again. Yeah, keep trying.
Yeah. I've written one letter of recommendation for Veronica Pedrell, which is, our first trans elected woman in the state who was also in HWF. And I have one that I'm writing this year. I'm not telling you who it is, but I got another one because listen, I encourage people, especially when they are trying to elevate their profile for multiple things in the political space, in the leadership space. I encourage them because I think not only will you get something out of Who's Your Woman Forward, the question I ask, or when I'm looking at somebody that I'm asking to apply, is what do they offer to the conversation, to the cohort? Because I'm not going to encourage someone to sign up if I don't think like you just gonna suck it up and you're not gonna bring nothing, right? So
because you're so right. And I think the one thing that we want to make sure people understand, it is a leadership program.
Yeah, it's not a candidate program.
I think people, exactly. A lot of people think, it's a candidate program. No, we ain't gonna teach you how to be a campaign manager and all that. That's not it.
No, because
we want women who are going to take what they learn from the program and be leaders in their community.
Yeah,
and it can be any way. It could be serving on boards and commissions. It could be elevating yourself within the organization that you work at. I mean, so it's just an array, but it's giving back to the community because you're a Democrat.
Yeah.
So we're building the bench of Democrat women in leadership spots from the business, political, educational, all institutions. We're building the bench of Democrat women in leadership spots across the board.
And I love it. When I tell you I'm a huge fan of this organization, like, so when I was in that first meeting as well, I knew that I wasn't in a position to offer very much, but I remember being in that meeting and I'm like, do I want to apply? Like, I remember thinking, do I want to apply for this? Like, I think I should. But then I recognized, like, at that point, I had been like the deputy chair of the party for a little while, and I had already done some other work. And I was like, I didn't want to take a slot. Like, not that I was going to get chosen, but it was like, I don't want to take a slot from someone who could probably use this space or need this space a little bit more than me. So I've never applied. But what I have done has been a speaker at all but the first year. And I've done, so I am, I love Who's Your Woman Forward. My partner, Nicole, is graduate of first class.
She's the first class.
Yeah. Dana Colbert, who our party's executive director, is a graduate. And like, there's just Cynthia Johnson, who was the District 5 chair, like all these amazing women. And then I see the women when they're out on when they decide, again, this is not a candidate program, but they decide that the way they want to lead is to run for office. And I see them out there and they're like, oh, you came and spoke. Like, I just love the sisterhood that is created by Who's Your Woman Forward. So you guys are doing an amazing job. Aren't you the chair of the board right now?
I've held every leadership position except for treasurer.
Okay.
So now I'm just a board member.
Okay, you're just a board.
I was selections committee chair, and I was also the secretary. Then I was vice president or vice chair, and then I was chair. And so now I'm just taking a back seat.
Okay.
And still on the selections committee and still on the board.
Well, I don't think
But
that you.
it's a great organization.
Yeah.
And for a woman that, and for some, and it's not for every woman.
Right.
There are some women that have achieved so much that, like you had achieved a lot already. What more could the program provide to you? You could provide more to the program than the program could provide to you. So I appreciate the fact that you understanding and knowing, hey, I would be taking up a spot from someone who really does need this. And so it's not for everybody, because there are some people that are already hitting on all cylinders.
Yeah.
But there are a lot of women who wants to just hit on one so that they can hit on another one, so that they can hit on another one. And so that's what we're wanting to make sure, that we're building a bench of women that are out there that are in leadership spots. And, the diversity is important to us as well, because, we don't want to just have one group of women that we are training. We want to make sure that we're training a diverse group of women, because we're in all places, so we need to be in all spaces.
And so that's why I wanted to kind of, to do the second half of this conversation about, you're not just an elected official, right? You're not. Yes, we appreciate the hard work that you do in the State House, and I'm sure you have some plans for this upcoming session. But I also wanted people to see, like, it's being a community leader is not just about being an elected official. You are someone, you don't, like I said, you don't make a lot of noise. You ain't out here on the social medias making a bunch of noise and calling people names and all of that old dumb stuff.
No, it's just too much work. That's too much work.
Girl, too much energy required. And I want you to know, like, for someone like me who see, like, everybody don't see what I see, right? For those that don't see the hard work that you put into IDAC, into young women, into your interns, into Hoosier Women Forward, and all and I'm sure you can't, I don't even know your business, but I'm sure you get a paycheck from somewhere. So I don't know, but I just know you got a lot going on. And I want the people to see, like, this is what true leadership looks like. And so I thank you.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. And again, it really goes back to, I didn't plan to be an elected official. That wasn't, quite frankly, something that I grew up thinking that I could do. Because who thinks that they're going to be elected official, unless you live in a house where there are elected officials.
No, yeah.
But being an intern for Representative Crawford, my mentor, who I learned a lot from. And when the opportunity opened these doors, I was ready and able to walk through. Ironically, though, Dana, so I did not run until for my seat until 2008. Representative Crawford had tried to get me run for state rep much sooner than that.
Wow. Yeah,
and I was like, no. And it's important, I think, make sure you're ready when you do it. Make sure you're ready.
Yeah.
And I was not ready. I was not. I was focused on my graduate school, my education.
Right.
So like, no.
Yeah.
I'm not going to do it. And the other thing too, Dana, I think that's important, is people sometimes see things in you that you don't see in yourself.
Yeah.
And Representative Crawford saw that in me early on, and for me, I'm focused on school.
Yeah.
I appreciate the fact that you see that in me, but I'm focused on school. I had a goal, and I was trying to achieve that goal, and I did. And wasn't nothing straying me away from at all. But when the opportunity presented itself, I was ready.
Yeah.
I was ready, and he put that he planted that seed in me, asking me to run. Had he not planted that seed, even when the opportunity presented itself, I don't know that I would have even taken it.
Wow, look at that. That's what we call leaving the ladder down, and watering the flowers and making sure that we take care of the next generation. So you're taking what Mr. Crawford did for you, and now you are doing it for other people. And guys, this is what leadership looks like. This is what leadership looks. All right, I done took up so much of your time. I really do appreciate this conversation. I knew it was going to be a good one because
what this last thing, Dana. I'm sorry.
No, you good. It's your show.
I have expectations too when I help people. Mm-hmm. I have expectations.
Ain't nothing wrong with that.
The expectation is not for them to give anything to me, because I've been in a position to help them, but I do have an expectation for them to give back. So if I'm helping you, my expectation is for you to not shut the door on other people. My expectation for you is to bring other people along.
I love it.
So
all right.
If you want my help,
you better help somebody else.
Good way to get my help is making sure that I know you're going to bring in some other people along with you. You're just not going to hold the spot and say, okay, I'm in now. I'm going to close the door. Nope.
That ain't going to work.
Nope. That ain't going to work.
Yeah, Representative Cherrish Pryor, tell the people where they can find you.
They can find me on social media. I have a Facebook account. I have a Twitter account. I have a Threads account. I also have Instagram and LinkedIn.
Okay.
I do use Facebook and Twitter probably the most, and Threads as well. Okay. And then, so that would be more campaign type stuff. However, if for my official side, you want to get my newsletters to find out what's happening in the community, to see my press releases that get sent out, and the community events that are happening. You can also go to my H94 account, my official State House account as well, and you can sign up for my newsletters on that account, and also Substack. All that stuff Substack as well.
All right. Representative Cherrish Pryor fighting for us every day in the State House. Guys, this is what leadership looks like. I hope you enjoyed that conversation. I hope those first-time candidates, she gave you some great advice on what to do if you win. You got to listen. I listen to her advice. I don't even know what she's talking about. Listen. She's talking in my ear and I'm not letting her get in. But listen, Indiana's own Dana Black, this is what it's all about. We are trying to bring you the candidates so that whether they're first time or running for a re-election bid, if you want to help, one of the things that we need to do also is still donate to our incumbents, because our incumbents have the ability to influence. So if you can click on her donate link right there, donate to her campaign so that she can help other candidates, allow her influence, allow what she brings to the movement to help other candidates, because we want to end the superminority, right? We want to end the supermajority by helping flip some seats, and with her experience and with her, know-how, she might be able to influence a 50-50 district to get somebody over the edge. So donate to her campaign so that she can help other people. All right. Indiana's own Dana Black. Turn left. This was a great conversation. I do love Cherrish Pryor, Representative Cherrish Pryor. I will talk to y'all next time. Peace. Turn Left is the property of Black Pearl IT Solutions, executive producer, Indiana's own Dana Black. Music by Dorian and 22 from Pixabay.